All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Houston Rockets Daily. Today we have a video primarily focused around Jalen Green. If you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I saw something on Facebook today that said, the first 15 or so games with Jalen Green, he shot less than 40% from the field with the two big lineup, less 27% from downtown, only about 14 points per game. When you really dive into those statistics, shooting 37 from the field, 24% from downtown, whatever it was, still being able to average 14.3 points per game, I believe it was, I think that's pretty impressive. The last 7 games with the one big lineup, usually it's Christian Wood, Jalen Green is now averaging 19.3 points per game on 45% from the field and then 45% from downtown. So I think it's pretty evident that he has really been going off. And then I saw a tweet on Rockets Insider on Twitter earlier today that said in the last 6 games, Jalen Green is averaging 20.5 points on 44.6% shooting, and then 14 points per game, 38% shooting in the first 18 games played. And in the Rockets' last 6 games, Green ranks 5th on the team in touches per game. However, need to apply appropriate context with that particular stat. So there's also been some injuries, COVID, all that stuff going on in Houston right now. But Jalen Green, the whole point is the last 6 games, last 7 games, 19 points per game, 20 points per game, hovering somewhere around there. I still see so much stuff on Twitter saying he doesn't get the appropriate amount of touches. I feel like for the most part he does. Maybe in a game like last night where only took 8 shots, Kevin Porter only took 8 shots. I feel like, last night's game was just kind of a mess in general, absolute blowout, or was it 2 nights ago? No, I think it was last night. Just absolute blowout to the Dallas Mavericks. And I just think no matter what happens this year with the Houston Rockets, I just want to see Jalen Green kind of like what he's doing right now. The last 6 games, I'm honestly thinking it's just going to last the entire season. I believe he needs to average 24 points per game for the remainder of the season to get to 20 points per game season average. To be genuine, I think he might actually do that. Now, once guys like Eric Gordon get traded away, maybe even Christian Wood gets traded away, that's when I think Jalen Green's really going to just start taking a lot more shots. He still takes a good amount, almost 13 per game, about 6.5 threes per game. But really, when you have Eric Gordon in the starting lineup, and I don't have the stats to back this, but this is just a personal opinion. If you guys watch this channel, I really don't like Eric Gordon in the starting lineup. I would so much rather have a guy like Garrison Matthews. I think Garrison Matthews is perfect for the starting 3 spot. Eric Gordon, I just feel like is more suited for the bench, and if we're looking to keep him healthy, most importantly, keep him consistent, I feel like coming off of the bench would just be a better route for him. But right now, you're running with KP, you're running with Jalen Green, you're running with Eric Gordon. So those are, with Jalen Green, excluding Jalen Green, those are 2 players on the court who want the ball almost all the time. Kevin Porter Jr. is the point guard, Eric Gordon, he's a primary ball handler. Eric Gordon always wants the ball in his hands. Christian Wood's a type of guy who will get the ball, hold it for 6 seconds, and then decide to start moving. Jalen Tate, very unselfish with it. Love you, Jalen. But I just think it goes to show you, I think it's just really impressive what Jalen Green has been able to do in the last couple of games. But I think what's even more impressive, honestly, as crazy as it may seem, is in that 15-game losing streak, the fact that Jalen Green was still able to put up 14 points per game on just 38% shooting, 27% from downtown, I feel like that's just a really strong indication that Jalen Green should be some type of player in the NBA, whether you want to call him a superstar, whether you want to call him a future star, future all-star, whatever you have. I just think it goes to show you, this early on in his career, in his first 18 games, he was shooting the ball horribly, but most importantly, he's playing with Christian Wood, Daniel Tice, and Jalen Tate on the same court all game, all night. What kind of spacing does that provide you at all? Daniel Tice sometimes thinks he's Steph Curry and he'll take 7 threes, so he helps space it a little bit, but the addition of Jalen Tate in that starting lineup, there is little to no spacing whatsoever. Like literally little to no spacing in those first 18 games, in those first 15 games, if you want to say that. I just think it's impressive. So really all I wanted to do today's video, I wanted to tell you guys some Jalen Green stats, but I'm just really I'm really excited about our promising future, because I know, you know, as we witnessed last night against the Dallas Mavericks, not all of these games are going to be that interesting. Not all of them are going to be that interesting, because we are rebuilding. We're coming off a season where we only won 15 basketball games. So you're going to go through roadblocks. You're going to have a ton of headaches. You're going to have a ton of headaches when you are rebuilding. And it's going to be mainly headaches, right? Until the end of the season. That's when we want to start seeing all of the progress start to come together, and you start to see win streaks, or at least more competitive games. Because the Houston Rockets right now, for the most part, they play good basketball, guys. Like, I don't want the illusion going out to like the NBA media that the Rockets suck every single night. Usually what happens in these Rocket games is they'll play 2 quarters of solid basketball, and then they'll play 1 quarter of just terrible defense. It'll just be like horrible. The worst defense you have seen in recent years for the Houston Rockets. Like, you'll get like 1 quarter of that usually, and then that other quarter is a wild card. I feel like, honestly, what's starting to happen this year as opposed to last year is that fourth quarter. It's not always the fourth quarter specifically, but like I said, you have 2 solid quarters, you have 1 horrible quarter, and this year I think we've started to turn the corner where you see 1 corner of just like potential. You see all the flashes of potential, whether it's the fourth quarter, whether it's the first, second, or third, what have you. I just feel like we're starting to get more consistent, because last year what would end up happening is the Rockets would maybe play like 1 or 2 solid quarters, and then the others, usually it would come in the second half, or it would come in the first half. It would come like literally in pairs. The first half would be horrible. Second half, we'd come back a little bit. First half, we'd be in it. Second half, we'd just get absolutely blown out. So I think they're really starting to turn the corner. And in that Houston Rockets win streak, and even just mainly in Houston Rocket wins, particularly I'll use the, who did we just beat? God damn, dude. There's no way. Was it the Pacers or the Wizards, right? God damn, man. How can I not remember who Kevin Porter just... Washington. So when we beat Washington, you saw 4 good quarters of basketball. 4 good quarters of basketball. And that's what we're trying to get to, just consistency. 4 consistent quarters of basketball, and a lot is going to have to do with Jalen Green, along with the rest of the starters and the rest with the team. But I think Jalen Green, what we've seen in the last 6-7 games, hovering around that 20-point per game mark, I think is really reassuring. I'm loving every aspect of Jalen Green right now. I'm really loving it. So let's get him some more touches. But enjoy this video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.